Well, hello everyone. Welcome to A Joy with Intention, the podcast. If you're new here, hello. I'm your host, Joy. I'm so excited to have you guys back here. Obviously, this is like the first actual proper episode since I've been back, which is literally yesterday. Because obviously I explained in like the last episode. It was only 4 minutes long. I was just debriefing what exactly has been going on over the past couple of months why I wasn't able to record and I haven't been able to stay, connected with you guys and in touch with you guys. But I am back now. I'm ready. Let's go. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Um so obviously my last episode was March, right? And I was basically starting a 2-week series. It was supposed to be just me covering the basic themes of the show, joy and intention. What are they? Why are they key themes of the show? Why are they so important to the show and to me? And yeah, there was just all kinds of stuff that I just wanted to cover. So yeah, we did joy. We covered joy. You can go listen to that episode if you haven't. I basically covered what is joy, where does it come from, how can we find it, etc., etc. And today we will be covering all about intention. Okay, we will be covering what is intention, what does it mean to live intentionally, how can we live intentionally, and because obviously I love researching, like by watching videos and finding articles and all kinds of stuff. So I like searched up. I was like, maybe let me see what other people think about what living intentionally is, because it's like something that's actually it's become like a trend, but it's not like a trend in the sense that everyone's actually implementing it. It's like more just a thing that people will say they're doing it on social media, but they're actually not. You know what I mean? But I think generally it's a very, very good thing for us to actually start implementing into our lives and actually start to, utilize for the better. You know what I mean? Because especially living intentionally, it does help, reduce stress levels in your life by a lot. You know what I mean? And when you're less stressed, you will start to see the way you act changes for the better, and that will inevitably reflect onto other people, because especially our actions can influence others. You know what I mean? So yeah, and I feel like especially living in such a fast-paced world, a rapid world, and everything just seems to be going south sometimes. Like sometimes just having that intention starting from you, it can be so helpful. It can honestly be such a game changer. So I found this article on Better Up by Elia Cooks Campbell. I'll link it down below because it's such a good article, and I really do advise you guys all to go and read it, because I was just reading it and I was like, whoa, girl, this is so good. So yeah, she basically titled the article "How Being Intentional Can Improve Your Life." Um and so so she basically starts off by saying living intentionally is more than just a trend. Being intentional with your actions, words, and lifestyle can help you get off autopilot and work towards achieving your goals. So that's basically what she says about living intentionally. What does living intentionally actually mean? By the way, you guys, I'm gonna be reading this article. This is like what the episode is gonna be centered around today. But I will also be adding my own input. I'll try and make it clear when I am. But yeah, just to let you guys know, that's what we're gonna be doing today. So yeah, I will also, I don't know if I've already said, but I will be linking this article down below so you guys can maybe go and look at it alongside this episode, or go read it in your own time, or just have it for reference, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's what she says about living intentionally. And I just want to highlight the way she says being intentional with your actions, words, and lifestyle. Okay, being intentional, you can put intention into every aspect of your life, into your thoughts, into your words, into your actions, into every single part. So like, especially for thoughts, if you're someone who struggles with negative thoughts and negative mentality, I get it. You know what? You know what I mean? Like, I get it. I understand it. And honestly, it's a struggle, but right, I feel like as humans, obviously, I think there was like a science experiment or something like I think there's a statistic somewhere that says, there's we have a lot of negative thoughts. It's human nature, you know what I mean? But I think being intentional with such negative thoughts and stuff, you can either not being intentional with them is just allowing them to fly at you, and then you just don't do anything, and then you allow them to affect you and spiral your emotions and make you feel even worse than you deserve to, because you don't deserve to feel bad. But then being intentional, it's you just letting them wash over and being like, okay, so like, okay, if you have a thought like, oh my gosh, I'm so dumb, be like, no, well, I could definitely be better than I am now. I'm not exactly dumb. Maybe I just have some potential in me that I'm not unlocking to my full potential. You know what I mean? Because especially obviously we've always got to recognize our own faults and our flaws and our mistakes. Like, no, be disciplined enough and have enough of a backbone to know, okay, I need to act up. I need to get myself straight. I need to get myself right. You know what I mean? But then also have enough of a heart to give grace to yourself as well, and know that just you already acknowledging that you need to level up and you need to improve, that's already a step in itself, because not many people are like that. Many people, they'll just sit there and play a pity party and they will never progress. But yeah, it's also one thing to sit there and just and say, okay, I know I need to level up, but then it's another thing to actually start to do it. That's when living into putting intention into your lifestyle and your actions and your words starts to work for you as well. You know what I mean? So, even actually, she says, daily life is full of tasks and work life balance is hard to keep up. Living intentionally can help you take time for yourself and avoid the types of stresses that set you off. Think about your actions and how they'll affect your well being and the well being of others around you. I think she's she's on fire right now. She's literally on fire. So she puts a subheading saying, what does it mean to be intentional? She says, intentional choices are deliberate and purposeful decisions. Living intentionally means thinking ahead and making choices based on your personal values, beliefs, and goals. People who live with intention try not to act on impulse, but instead think ahead and choose things that affect their lives positively. To start living an intentional life, you need a clear understanding of your purpose and passions. Then you can set goals to guide your choices. These could include anything that affects your life positively, from improving your relationships or working on your financial wellness or getting the promotion you've been working towards. Being intentional could also mean writing in a journal instead of scrolling on your phone. Or choosing to move to a new city when the old one stops feeling like your home. Intentionality looks different to everyone, and it's up to you to set your goals and decide what's important to you. It's impossible to be intentional and make the right decisions every time, but putting in the effort can get you on the right track. Making intentional choices helps you build good habits and find your purpose. So, I think I just had a few thoughts I wanted to touch on when she says living intentionally means thinking ahead and making choices based on your personal values, beliefs, and goals. I thought that was so key, because sometimes we have our own goals and beliefs and values, but we won't always hold ourselves to them because of other people or because of different circumstances. You know what I mean? Maybe you just personally don't want to drink. You just personally don't want to vape or smoke or whatever, but now you're in company or you're in a situation where loads of other people are, because that's what aligns with their values. But you not having intention, going into there with intention, what you were there meant to do, or what you aim to do, you're just gonna, because in church yesterday, one of the guys said, it was like, oh, I can't remember, but it's like kind of like the saying, like, if you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. You know what I mean? I think that basically sums up everything about like living intentionally, because if you do not stand for anything, you will quite literally fall for anything. If you do not know what you stand for, what you believe, what you value, it doesn't even have to be a whole list. You know what I mean? It can literally be like, just at least have one thing that you know for certain you will stand by, and you do stand by. You know what I mean? Because especially once you do have that one thing that you know you can stand by, like, obviously, please just don't be standing for like crazy things though, like like, some crazy political things or anything, but like, you know what I mean? Like, if maybe you stand by honesty, stand by it. If you stand by virtue, stand by it. If you stand by good morality, stand by it. You know what I mean? Because that means you'll be able to take that and make that in personal for you to live intentionally in the way that you need to, and in a way that works for you, so you can have a more intentional life for yourself. Does that make sense? So yeah. And then I also wanted to say, yeah, when she says being intentional could also mean writing in a journal instead of scrolling on your phone. Now I remember there's so many times I've seen people say, and it's so key because it's happened to me so many times. Like, I've seen it online so many times. Like, people will be like, oh yeah, if you don't, it's, yes, you do have time for it, it's just not your priority. That's the quote. It's so powerful, honestly. That is so powerful. And yeah, I think that's like so true as well, because sometimes we'll just be like, oh yeah, I don't have time. But how many times in a day do we actually spend time just literally scrolling mindlessly on our phone? Like, literally, if you go on your phone and check your screen time right now, you'll realize, oh my gosh, I do have time. It's literally just not a priority. I'm just not making it a priority at all, and I really need to. So yeah, and then she goes on to basically explain why is being intentional so important. She basically says making intentional choices can improve mental fitness and help you surround yourself with things that matter to you. So she says living intentionally can also, number one, reduce stress. Okay, it can reduce stress. And then she explains by saying making value based decisions can help improve well being. When your decisions focus on goals, you'll get closer to achieving them, and usually that means avoiding the things that stress you out. Number two, boost resilience. Living intentionally can boost resilience. And then she goes to explain one study showed that when college students practice intentional decision making, they experienced levels of resilience. And for those who don't know what resilience basically means that, it's like you're like you've developed that tough skin, like you can bounce back, like you basically get tougher and you get stronger, and nothing can break you down as easily when you become resilient. Yeah, and number three, she says living intentionally can help improve focus. Being intentional means making being intentional means making actions that matter to you and removing distractions from your life, like people with toxic traits. Can help you focus. Clear your mind and concentrate on the people and things that are truly important to you. Number four, it can help you become more present. Intentional decisions center on what's happening in your life right now and how you want to improve it, instead of wondering about. Yeah, instead of worrying about what ifs. Sorry, I keep like my brain's just all over the place right now. I'm getting there. Just bear with me, guys. And then she also says that it can encourage optimism, as being intentional also means focusing on the good things you already have. Practicing gratitude can help you develop a positive perspective and build hope for the future. And then she goes to lastly say, living with intention can help you set healthy boundaries. An intentional mindset helps you to say no to people and situations that drain your energy. When you protect your energy, you choose experiences that bring you joy and comfort. And I feel like especially it's so key, because I remember I was like, my dad was watching something like years ago, and he like put it on like the TV, and I just remember there was this woman, and she was saying, your no will sometimes actually be more powerful than your yes. And that always stuck with me, because it's so, especially for a people pleaser, it's so easy to just want to say yes to everything because you feel like you have to, or you feel like, or maybe you don't want to fully tell people the truth, when someone's making you feel uncomfortable, or maybe you feel a certain way, or maybe you have something you want to do, you want to act on, but you're just too scared of what other people will think, or what other people will say, or how it'll make other people feel, or you're just constantly putting others before yourself, but in an unhealthy way. I think I've been learning a lot more, like, just be honest. Be honest. Just put it out there. Obviously, put it in a respectful way, a dignified way with decorum, because we're about decorum over here. You know what I mean? But yeah, learn the power of your no. Because especially if you once you start acting out of your own beliefs and your own values, you will start to notice the way you start to lose sight of what you stand for and who you are. Because then again, if you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. And honestly, that's a very very that's a very scary place to be. So yeah, there's like a little heading she puts, like, skills for intentional living. And then yeah, she basically says, like, goal setting, self-awareness, gratitude, organization, like, determination. Those are the skills that we can develop from intentional living, and we can also put into intentional living. So for goal setting, she's like, yeah, knowing how to define your goals sets you up for success. So, like, smart goals and visualizing the path you want to take, writing down your goals and setting a timeline. And she even says that studies have shown that people who commit their goals to paper are 42% more likely to succeed. That is a high percentage as well. Like, that is a high percentage. And then she says for self-awareness, self reflection techniques can help you develop the insight you need to get in touch with your emotions and decisions. For gratitude, she says, when you're grateful for the things you have, you can better recognize and later prioritize them. Setting up a regular gratitude practice is a good way to start. Then she says for organization, staying organized boosts concentration, helps you get more done to reach your goals. For determination, she says determination and resilience are important things on the path to intentional living, especially when things don't go your way. Because everyone makes mistakes, and building an intentional life can be challenging, but with determination and resilience, anything is possible. So we've now covered, yeah, the skills that you gain from intentional living, the skills that you can put into intentional living. We've covered why being intentional is so important, why living with intention is so important. What we've covered, what does it mean to be intentional, what is intention, you know what I mean? So now we are on to the bit of where we talk about ways to be more intentional. She puts 10 ways to be more intentional, and she says, number 1, set measurable goals. I think especially most of us, we can tend to make goals, and we kind of reach too far for the stars or something. Like, so okay, so like the way I'm studying history now, right? Now I could probably say, okay, revise. So like I have a whole exam paper surrounding the topic of Italy. Now, if I'm not planning intentionally, I will just say, okay, on Wednesday, revise Italy. And then now Wednesday has come. But because I haven't put intention into it, I'm like, okay, now what do I revise? Because it's a whole paper, that means there's loads of topics within. But if I was living with intention, I could have been like, okay, I know that my schedule is like likely to be quite chaotic on Wednesday. I know that I usually try to be in bed at a certain time, and I usually try to have my supper at a certain time. So how much time would I have, and what topic do I think I'll be able to cover in this time that I've got. Maybe if I can get some of the topic covered, and then I can also get an exam question covered, what could I get covered, you know what I mean? Like, actually make your goals specific, make them realistic, but in the sense of actually making sure that you know once you get there you can and you will do them. And especially because sometimes you don't ever end up doing stuff and we start procrastinating because of fear, because it looks also so overwhelming, we just don't even want to touch it, so we just don't. So I think also making really good measurable goals, and also writing them down as well, writing down your progress, whether it's small or not, just letting it all know, you know what I mean? And then number 2, establishing a daily routine. Creating a consistent intentional morning and evening routine to bookend your day. Intentional habits that structure your day around your goals will move you to closer to them. And then she says, strengthen your relationships. Finding time to invest in your most important relationships can be tricky when you're feeling overwhelmed with day-to-day living, but strong, healthy connections with supportive people are a great way to stay accountable and feel encouraged when it comes to intentional living. I feel like, especially if you're someone who is trying to find more friends, I'm pretty much in the same boat as well. I just love just knowing, like, not like just knowing, like, but like meeting loads of different people and seeing like people from different perspectives of life and just all come together, and you get to witness all kinds of backgrounds, different people and stuff. I think that's just honestly so beautiful, and I just really love that. So yeah, I think definitely there should be loads of things, like, like literally maybe just search up wherever you live, just search it up in Instagram or Facebook. There will be so much I'm sure you can find. I think even like just going to a running club, joining a running team, like not like a team, but like just join a group of runners who love to run. Just go get like a cute little cup of coffee, like a running group, that's what I mean. Yeah, get a cup of coffee before you go, or like go run and then have a little coffee after, or maybe join a pottery class and get connected with the people there, like, you know what I mean? Like, definitely step out of your comfort zone, and also put yourself out there to strengthen those relationships and build those relationships. Then she says, make a vision board. And then she goes on to say, creating a visual representation of your goals reminds you of what you're working towards. Building a vision board that focuses on your goals, whether they're career related, financial, or extracurricular. Add images or quotations that match to remind you what you're working towards and why. Even a sticky note on your mirror can be enough to remind you. And then for number 5, she says, declutter your space. For number 6, she says, make deliberate spending choices. I think this can be so true, because sometimes once we get into money, or like we see something, we're like, oh, okay, that looks so nice, I kind of wanna just buy that, I deserve it. And then one thing turns into another and turns into another, and then in the long run it starts to become quite chaotic. But I think being intentional with your spending as well, it will definitely, because I think especially financial stress can really, really impact your life and your mental health as well. So if we can do anything to prevent that financial stress, that will be so pivotal to your intentional living journey. And that's why I also advise everyone to learn about personal finance for yourself. Never rely on anyone else financially, because once you do that, whew, that's a very, very dangerous place to be in. If you can avoid it, then please do. Number 7, don't waste time. It's easy to stretch yourself thin. There's only 24 hours in the day, so use them wisely, and remember to take time for yourself. Try not to say yes to things that don't serve you and your goals. If you're tired and want to prioritize rest, it's okay to say no to a late night party. Spend your limited time on the things that matter most to you, your relationships, goals, and priorities. That's so key. It's actually relating to what I said, like saying yes yes and saying no. If you don't want to, if you know that you just don't want to go, you can't go. Don't force yourself, you know what I mean? So yeah, and then she goes on to say, for point 8, monitor your mental health. Be aware of your emotions and state of mind. Automatic thoughts and feelings should not be ignored or repressed. They're a sign that something is out of balance and you need to address that. If you're feeling anxious or overwhelmed, try to find the root of the problem and seek help if you need to. And number 9, focus on yourself. Your life is your own and your opinion is the most important one. Try not to worry about disappointing others or what people will think. It's okay to ask friends and family and mentors for advice. But if you're too worried about their words and their opinions taking you further from what matters, refocus. Remind yourself that your needs and your goals take priority. And lastly, number 10, stay positive. You can't make lasting changes if you're always thinking in the negative. Change your mindset and start looking for the positives. Even if you made a mistake, you learned something from it, which is a good thing. You don't have to be happy all the time. Nobody is. But even when facing challenging times, a positive mental attitude can make a difference, especially when it comes to intentional living. So, that is all about living intentionally, you guys. What it means to live intentionally, how we can live intentionally, how we can implement more intention into our lives. So let's just go with a quick recap over most of the subheadings. When she says, what does it mean to be intentional? She says, intentional choices are deliberate and purposeful decisions. They are deliberate and purposeful decisions. And living intentionally means thinking ahead and making choices based on your personal values, beliefs, and goals. People who live with intention try not to act on impulse, but instead think ahead and choose things that affect their lives positively. And then for the 6 points she puts of why being intentional is important. She says it reduces stress, it boosts resilience, it improves focus, it helps you become more present, it encourages optimism, it helps you set healthy boundaries. Then the skills for intentional living, she says, are goal setting, self-awareness, gratitude, organization, determination. Those are the skills that we can put into living intentionally and the ones that we take also from living intentionally. Then she says, 10 ways to be more intentional. 1. Set measurable goals. 2. Establish a daily routine. 3. Strengthen your relationships. 4. Make a vision board. 5. Declutter your space. 6. Make deliberate spending choices. 7. Don't waste time. 8. Monitor your mental health. 9. Focus on yourself. And 10. Stay positive. Wow. That is honestly such a fire article. I think honestly that she basically summed everything up. I don't even really need to add anything onto that because she has basically summed it all up so well. I literally read that and I was like, girl, oh wow, you are on fire with that one. So I just thought, yeah, that I can without a doubt just center the whole episode around this one. I know it will have covered everything that I was thinking because it quite literally did. So yeah, that is what intention is, why I put it as like a theme, because I think especially implementing joy into our life and having living with intention as well, those two things can be so key. And also, as I say all the time, joy isn't about being happy all the time. It's not. It's about I talk about it. It goes deep about it in the other episodes, so go listen to that. But joy is not something that is affected from the outside. It is not something that wavers here and now and then. It is a mental state that you choose to be in. It's not about, oh, I have to be happy all the time, I have to stay positive all the time. No, that's not what joy is. And I explain in the other episode. So yeah. Yeah, but that's all for living intentionally, living with intention. Why I put it as a key theme of the show, because I think sometimes people don't understand exactly why I named the show what it did, but I think that's why, because joy with intention, living out more joy with intention, living a life of more joy with intention Yeah, I love that. I really do. So yeah, I think that will be it for today's episode. But yeah, I really do thank you guys for listening if you've come this far. I hope you have a lovely day, week, evening, afternoon, whenever time you're listening. And yeah, I'm just hoping that this episode really helped you. If you can support the show, you can go and give a rate on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Apple Podcasts really does help boost the show as well. So if you can, that would be greatly appreciated. The podcast is everywhere, including YouTube, so you can go listen to it. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You can connect with me on social media. I have an account for the podcast, so everything to do with the podcast is going to be in there. And yeah, I'm just really, 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 really excited for the kind of stuff we have planned next, and I just, yeah, honestly can't wait. So yeah, thank you so much for listening, guys, and I truly hope that you guys have a wonderful rest to whatever part of the day you are at right now. And I will talk to you soon. Okay, bye guys.